In today's rapidly evolving world, the early years of a child's life are more crucial than ever. As parents, caregivers, and companions, our roles have taken on new dimensions, shaped by modern challenges and the latest research in child development. This book, What Matters, is a beacon for those navigating the complexities of nurturing young children in a time marked by unprecedented change. Whether you're a seasoned parent or a new companion to a child, this guide is designed to offer practical insights and reassurance, focusing on the consistent, caring relationships that truly make a difference in the formative years. Let's explore how we can foster resilience, mental health, and happiness in our children amidst the demands of our busy and often exhausting lives. These days, babies and young children may have a lot of people in their lives. The needs of babies themselves haven't changed much, but the world in which they live is suddenly very different. Babies may well have many companions, people who they see often and know well, who are loving or affectionate with them. Many people have had a positive and secure early childhood themselves, but not everyone. Whatever your own childhood roots are, companionship with a new baby can bring much joy, sometimes unexpectedly. If you are a mother, father, partner, or primary carer, of course, you matter most. Other important players in young children's lives might be grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, and cousins, members of the family. As well, there might be family friends, neighbours, child carers, or companionable key people in daycare. It can be quite a cast of companions. If you are watching this, perhaps you are, or will be, a companion, and you want to make the most of it. If so, this book is for you. What Matters is for very busy and often completely exhausted readers. It is deliberately short and without references, but see about the author for validity. Post-pandemic, our lives are comparatively separated because of masks, social distancing, and the like. What Matters is a timely reminder about the importance of relationships in early childhood, nurturing babies, and young children's mental health and resilience. This is not about being perfect parents and carers, but finding out about good enough, a consistent theme throughout the book. During the first 3 years is good, and the first year is probably the best, because very early experiences lay the most important long-lasting foundations for physical, social, emotional, and learning development. If you are parents looking forward to a new baby, about halfway through the pregnancy can be a good time, when plans are starting to take shape and the confidence that this book can give you might help. But it is never too late, because What Matters is based on findings that can be useful throughout life. When parents are asked about their hopes for their children, the first reply is usually to be healthy and happy. This generally seems to be the starting point. Although, of course, other well-being elements matter too. There are plenty of how-to books and online advice available on what to do in particular situations, but they are often contradictory. What Matters is about families finding a consistent general approach to everyone's well-being, how to be feeling alright in yourself and with other people, and reasonably coping. It is about ways to bring up healthy, happy babies and young children with good enough well-being and resilience. The world has changed astonishingly fast, especially since the turn of the century. These changes are making an enormous impact on the childhoods of the youngest children. For babies and young children especially, it is worth briefly mentioning just 3 areas. First, the latest neuroscience research. Second, the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. And third, expanding childcare needs. Since the 1990s, the neuroscience of early childhood has provided us with much solid and consistent information about when and how our brains develop. We know that early experiences don't stay in early childhood, but continue to make a difference to life outcomes. We are told that about 90% of the neural networks that lay down future health, well-being, and lifelong learning are thought to develop during a child's earliest years, from birth, indeed in utero, to 5 years. The message for parents and carers is reassuringly straightforward. In summary, what babies need for strong and healthy neural networks is caring, responsive adults. Much more well-designed research is needed about this, especially in relation to the youngest children. So far, UK studies report school closures, disruptive access to healthcare, an increase in domestic violence, and worsening mental health in families. Teachers report children struggling with emotional well-being, as well as an ability to learn language and numeracy skills when starting school. Globally, there are reports of a rise in violence generally, worsening mental health, and a surge in poverty. Families in lower income countries have been hit the hardest. Save the Children says, COVID-19 is the biggest global health, education, and economic crisis of our lifetime and has impacted every child around the world. What matters is in part a response to this appalling picture, offering a positive and financially manageable way forward for families with the youngest children. With more parents working, the need for good childcare has increased over the years. There are many wonderful daycare settings to be found, perhaps not always in expensive buildings with shiny toys, but where babies and young children's lives are happily full of consistent emotional warmth with caring, responsive adults. But the cost of childcare is now prohibitive for many families. Some nurseries are closing, while remaining staff are doing a valiant job with little training, shockingly low pay, and little public acknowledgement or appreciation of their crucially important work. There is a crisis in the sector, while at the same time, more parents need to find childcare that works for both themselves and for their children. In public debates about childcare provision, the focus is on the ruinously high cost to parents and on national economics and workforce requirements. Solutions are seen in terms of increased access to daycare settings. The needs of the youngest children themselves are rarely mentioned. In policy terms, this failure to prioritize them and explore ways to nurture them as the most precious resource for the future that we have makes absolutely no sense. What matters for them is consistent, caring, responsive adult companions. So, in this challenging childcare context, exploring the possibility of companionable care at home, or if affordable with a companionable childcare, are surely important options for some families. Solid government policies to support those families would make absolute sense. What matters is all about companionable ways of being with children. As it happens, these ways do not involve spending money, a fortunate factor in a world where many families are struggling financially. Almost all babies have at least several companions, people they see often, know well, and who are loving or affectionate with them. Babies with 1 or 2 companions in their lives will be fine, while for many, it is more the merrier. These companionable relationships with genuinely caring, responsive adults are at the heart of the 8 What Matters chapters. Getting started. Companions matter. Belonging and behavior matters. Caring matters. Learning matters. Doing matters. You matter. And looking ahead. They are about laying good enough foundations for lifelong mental health and well-being. But what about physical health? We know this matters very much right from the start. However, in relation to health and illness, there are already many reliable people to consult and well-researched places to find out what to do. In health services, online, in libraries, and in bookshops, many parents will already be well informed about their child's physical needs and development. Most have the benefit of long-established services such as midwives, health visitors, and doctor practices to turn to when in doubt. So the main messages are about managing a good enough balance, but we all, children and adults, go through periods of imbalance. For instance, a severe illness, financial worries, feeling excluded over a long period, the exhaustion of the months following pregnancy and childbirth, or a collapse in confidence can put us out of balance. Thinking about the different chapters here can help us to identify what is missing for our children or for ourselves. They may help us to hang on through hard times, perhaps taking appropriate action if possible, and looking forward to better days. There is much that parents and carers already know or can easily find out, and what matters is not about looking up what to do in a crisis. Instead, it offers a way to consider a generally consistent approach, giving you the confidence to find your way through the sometimes contradictory advice about what to do for the best. What matters is for thinking about what matters to you as companions, for your babies and young children's health and happiness and your own, not just now, but throughout life. If all of this sounds good to you, then please take a look at our book, What Matters? For Family Wellbeing by Rosemary Roberts. What Matters is about companionable life at home with babies and small children, using belonging and behaviour together for resilient well-being and mental health. It's available from OBooks. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and follow for future videos, and we'll see you next time.